And for today's episode of Vlogoween, I'm going to be showing you guys how to achieve my Sweeney Todd inspired eyeshadow look. A lot of you guys requested this after I did this look in August, which is an entirely inappropriate month to be walking around town looking like Sweeney Todd, but you know, that's how we do it on the swamp. If you want to know how I do this, stick around. There's no place like London. Just imagine if like Sweeney Todd was like a happy musical instead of like a sad one. Like sing all the songs with like a happy note to them. No. I'll stop there. I tried to do my Sweeney Todd hair as best as I could today, but ever since I went on my crimping binge, my hair has just had enough of my sassiness. It's just done with me. So I tried to like tease and make Sweeney Toddness as much as I possibly could. Leave me a comment down below if you want me to try and do a Sweeney Todd hair tutorial for this kind of thing going on. It could also be like an insane asylum look. So many different things with this. Tutorial begins now-ishly. So my first tip for you guys for achieving any kind of like Halloween theatrical makeup look, and any good theater kid will tell you this, is to have a source picture, even if it's not really big or great or anything, in front of you when you do looks like this, because it's just good to have a little reference sheet instead of trying to do it from memory. As you can see, there's a lot of like reds, purples, and bronzy kind of shades. So what I do for a lot of my depraved looking characters that I do is before I put on my foundation or too much makeup really, I like to take a kind of purpley shade. I'm going to be using this bottom one here in my Tarte palette, which is called Tribal, and this is in the Amazon Escape palette. So I'm just going to take one of those e.l.f. eyeshadow brushes, and I just like don't go extreme or anything, but just pat a little bit. Pretty much all my makeup looks just look really gross until like the last 10 seconds of the video, so prepare yourselves now for the madness. And then I just like smooth it out a lot with the phalanges, you know, not like vigorously as to give myself realistic bags, but just kind of, you know, smoothing it around just so you kind of have like an extreme dark circle, like so. Now that I've accentuated my lovely naturally occurring dark circles, the next step for everybody is going to be foundation, and for me I'm just going to spray my foundation on with my luminess machine because that's my foundation. So I'll be back in just a second after I spray my face. Now that I have my foundation on, I'm going to set with a powder like I normally would, except for this look, I'm going to set it with a lighter shade of powder than I would normally use because Sweeney Todd is really pale, even paler than I am naturally. Here's where the meaty part of the actual tutorial kind of begins. The first thing I do is I take my Black Diamond liner, and it's not really a gel liner, but you could probably get the same effect with a gel liner. I'm not even sure if MAC still makes this anymore or not, but I just take a liner brush and I smudge just a little bit on the top of my lids. I just very lightly brush a little bit, definitely not anything really too extreme, just kind of right at the lash line, and then I just take my finger and smudgy just to kind of give us a good eyeshadow base before applying any eyeshadow primer. It just kind of makes sure that you get that smoldering look right up at your lash line. Next, you want to take whatever eyeshadow primer you want and put it all over your lid, and I generally go just a little bit above the crease, not all the way up to the eyebrow or anything. While I'm kind of waiting for the primer to get a little bit tackier, I start working on the lower lash line, and as we can see, there is a lot going on there, and that's mostly like bronzy golden colors and some reds. And for the red liner, I use Urban Decay's liquid liner in the color Gash. That sounds fun. And let me tell you, please be careful putting this close to your eye, because if you do get it in your eye, it stings badly. If you don't think that you're gonna use a lot of red eyeliner though, I know people, especially when I was doing theater shows and stuff, who needed to have red eyeliner and they used a red lip liner pencil instead. So that's a cheaper alternative if you're just gonna be doing this one time. So I just go in and get about as close as I possibly can to my lash line. Since this does sting so badly if you get it in your eye, I do like to do a little bit of smudging with the red liner just so it isn't such a harsh line. But for that, I don't even dare use my finger. I use a little Q-tip and I just go in there and smudge it out, blend it a little bit with that purple base that I have on under here. To add a little bit more dimension to the under eye area, I go ahead and bring in a little bit of a copper pencil right at my lower waterline. To achieve this, I'm using a pencil called Lucky by Urban Decay. So now I'm going to start working on the top of the lids, and to do that, I'm going to be using a MAC Duo that I got during the Style Seeker collection, so I don't think you'll be able to get this exact same thing anymore from the counter unless you buy it online. But I'm going to be using this kind of reddish copper color right here, and I'm going to be patting that basically all over my lid except for right here in the outside area. I'm going to come back and do another color in just a minute. I know a lot of people think it's totally backwards that I put my foundation on first and then my eyeshadow, but that's just how I roll here. So to prevent fallout or anything like that, a little trick that I do is I take these little wedge sponges and I put them underneath my eye, and then I pat my eyeshadow on just to make sure like nothing falls on my cheek. I'm just gonna go through and stay primarily on the lid. I do go just slightly into the crease, but once again, nothing like really extreme up to the brow or anything like that. I know it looks pretty uneven and sloppy right now, but that's okay because we still have a lot of blending to do. Now I'm going to go back in and add a little purple hues to the outside corner of my eye, and once again I'm going to be coming back to this dark purpley plum kind of color, which is Tribal by Tarte, and I'm just going to get some on my little e.l.f. eyeshadow brush here and just pat this in the outer corner of my eye and kind of like blend it a little bit into the crease. So if you ever do get a little bit of fallout, I think some is in my nose area a little bit, you can just use a fan brush and lightly dust it away so it doesn't get all smeary. In my opinion, it still kind of looks a little bit like blockish, not really well blended. So for that, I'm going to go back and kind of blend it together with this coppery kind of golden color that's right next to Tribal in this same palette, and that's called Camo. And once again, I'm just going to use an eyeshadow brush and just pick a little bit up and then just kind of go through and tie it all together. Sometimes I go back through and I do a little bit of blending with my fingers. I really don't think that there's such a thing as too much blending. Honestly, sometimes I spend like 10 or 12 minutes just going back and just like blending just to make sure none of it really has like, you know, just like a rough straight edge. I think this side is a little bit darker. Like I said, I don't really have an exact science to this, and Sweeney Todd looks kind of, you know, grungy and smoky and dirty and not exactly well put together, so I wouldn't stress out too much about this look. It's all about fun anyway and Halloween, so just do what you want. So I like to tie in and do a little bit of blending on what I did earlier on the underside of my eye, and I like to come back through and take the same camo color that I used to blend and mix everything on the top, and I like to go through and just add a little bit of that color to my under eye area just to kind of blend and bring all the colors in together. So whenever you feel you have the right smudginess, blendiness for your life, then you can go through and add eyeliners to the top of the eye, and I say eyeliners plural because I use two to achieve this look. I go back and re-add some of the same black diamond kind of gel liner that I did in the beginning, except for this time I'm even more precise with it, and I just go back through and put it in the exact same spot I did at the beginning of this video, except for this time I'm not going to smudge it out with my fingers. I'm just gonna brush it on kind of like that, not really too evenly. The next thing I like to do is go on top of that gel liner and add a really, really intense liquid liner, and my favorite liner is the L'Oreal Liner Intense in Carbon Black, and I just go through on top of that line that I just made, and right at the lash line I go in and draw a really fine dark intense line. Next I go through and I do some heavy contouring, or for my life it's basically just regular contouring. Those of you who know me know that I love kind of being heavy-handed with my contouring. So I just go through and I use a bronzer and just kind of find my cheekbone area and just kind of isolate it to this triangle shape right in front of my ear. Lay it on a little bit thick, because I don't know, when you look like at the front it doesn't really look that weird or grotesque. It's only when you like turn to the side that you're like, what have you done? With this look I feel that blush is kind of optional. I normally go in and just like lightly dust my cheeks with my normal blush brush. I don't really pick up any new makeup, but I just kind of dust just a little bit on, because if not I think I look just kind of like, ugh, like really grody. The very last step is to put on your mascara of choice. So I'm just gonna do that really quick. I'm using my Maybelline The Falsies Volume Express. That is generally the only mascara that I use. So that's it. That's the whole look. I normally don't put any lipstick on with this just because when you look at the man himself, it looks like, you know, his lips do not stand out at all. It's really mainly just focused on the eye makeup, and usually when I do any super dramatic eye look, I kind of just don't put anything on my lips. But if you want to put a color on your lips, I would just go with kind of like a nude or a flesh tone mauve, like certainly not red or anything like super dramatic, because I don't know, that would just kind of like throw it all off for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was helpful and somewhat simple to follow. I'll have all the products that I used listed down below, but like I said, I really think that you can create this look using like drugstore makeup or high-end makeup or whatever you really want to use, as long as it's in, you know, kind of like a copper, plum, red color family. So if any of you guys attempt this look, please leave it as a video response down below, or if you try it and you want to tweet it to me or send it to me on Facebook, whatever you want to do. I would love to see if any of you guys are going as Sweeney Todd for Halloween, and let me know down below if you want me to try and do a Sweeney Todd hair tutorial, or if you guys would like to see like the entire costume that I have in mind to put together. Sweeney Todd is also like another option that I'm thinking about wearing to Disney World for one of the Halloween party nights, so you know, just playing around with different ideas. As usual, love you guys. Hope y'all are enjoying Vlogoween. If you want, please take a minute to subscribe. We still have like what, 27, 28? I can't really count that well. We still have many days of Vlogoween to go. Also, if you want, you can like me on Facebook, facebook.com/graveyardgirl, or you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram @graveyardgirl, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!